Hello, let's discuss on some of the common infectious disease in human. The first one is typhoid or enteric fever. Typhoid is caused by a rod-shaped bacteria named Salmonella typhi. This bacteria cause infection to the intestine of the human. The disease is common in children of the age group of 1 to 15 years. We shall discuss on the mode of transmission. This Salmonella typhi is mostly spread by a housefly. When the housefly sits over the feces of the patients, the bacteria, that is Salmonella typhi, gets attached to the body of the housefly, and when this housefly sits over the food and water, uncovered food and water, it releases this bacteria into the food and water. So this is how food and water gets contaminated, and when this contaminated food and water is being ingested, the bacteria enters into the body and it reaches to the intestine and cause lesions into the intestinal wall. So this disease spreads through contaminated food and water. So this is how transmissions of Salmonella typhi starts. Now the incubation periods for this disease varies from 1 to 3 weeks. That is, the incubation period here refers to the period from the day of infection till the symptoms become visible in the body of the individual. This is called as the incubation period. So the incubation period varies from 1 to 3 weeks. Now the symptoms includes high fever in the first and second weeks, and these fevers gradually subsided or disappear in the third and fourth weeks, and this has been accompanied by severe body pain, weaknesses, loss of appetite, and even stomach pain. And during this when those person that is suffering from this typhoid, the liver also get enlarged, and in severe cases intestinal perforation and even death may occur. This typhoid or enteric fever can be confirmed by carrying out a test called as the Whittle test. Now we shall discuss on the preventive measures. The preventive measures include proper sanitizations of the surrounding environment, even chlorinated water supply that is being used for drinking, or even that is being used for personal hygienes, prevention of food from being contaminated by flies or dust, and even properly cooking the food and properly cleaning the eatable items. So these are some of the preventive methods or preventive measures to control this disease. Now this typhoid can also be cured by using an effective drugs called as the ampicillin and the chloromycetin. So these are some of the effective drugs to control the disease, that is typhoid. Now the second type of disease we shall discuss on malaria. Malaria is a communicable disease and is caused by a protozoan blood parasite called the Plasmodium. So there are 4 different species of Plasmodium that is causing different type of malaria: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium malarial, and Plasmodium ovale. The transmission of this malaria takes place during the sporozoid stage of this Plasmodium species. So sporozoid is the motile spore-like stage of the Plasmodium, and it is during this stage that the Plasmodium species became most infective stage. So this sporozoid is being injected into the body of the human being by the bite of the Anopheles mosquito. So the Plasmodium is being injected into the body during the sporozoid stage. Now the incubation periods of this malaria appears several days after infections. Now the symptoms of this malaria includes headache, nausea, loss of appetite, constipations, and at the onset of the malarial fever, patient suffers from shaking chills, headache, muscular pains, and joint pains. And as the chill subsides, the body temperature rises considerably and the patient sweats a lot, and then the temperature steadily comes down. to the normal till the next infective stage takes place after 48 hours. Now, so these are some of the symptoms of malaria. Now we shall discuss on control of malaria. The control of malaria fever are of 3 steps. The first one is destruction of Anopheles mosquitoes. The second is prevention of infection. The third is the treatment. So let's first discuss on the destruction of Anopheles mosquito. This mosquito can be destructed by filling up the ditches, ponds and pools with earth in order to prevent its breeding ground. The second is the spraying of ponds with insecticides to kill the larvae of the mosquito. The third is the covering the drains or making underground drains to eliminate the breeding ground of the mosquitoes, and even removing unnecessary vegetations from and around the houses and planting insectivorous plants like Utricularia. So this Utricularia feeds on the larvae of the this mosquito. So planting of this insectivorous plant can also be a mode of preventing the mosquito breeding. So these are some of the methods for destroying the mosquitoes. The second is the prevention of infections. Infections can be controlled by keeping the hands and feet covered in the evening and in the night. The second is the applying mosquito oil or using mosquito repellent cream. The third is using a mosquito net while sleeping to avoid mosquito bite. And fourth is wire gauzing the house, or wire gauzing of the doors and windows in order to prevent the entry of the mosquito into the room. So these are some of the prevention ways of preventing the infections. Now the third control measures is the treatment. The effective drugs for the treatment of malaria includes quinine, chloroquine, daraprim, and even maraprim, etc. So these are some of the drugs which are effective in controlling the malarial disease. So this is all about malaria.